Shut up about the fucking Moon Men.
Shut up about the Moon Men. We're going to talk about Star Trek.
Nice.
Starmen.
Waiting in the sky.
Star Trek, waiting in the sky. Sorry.
We both went the same way?
Yes.
Gross. Welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, some kind of pod thing. This is episode 156?
Woo!
Woo! Whoa!
We have wasted so much of our life on this show.
What wasted?
A little bit. I'm shocked how much we've actually done in only, 3 years and change. Because it's so much Star Trek.
Yeah.
Speaking of so much Star Trek, my name is Ames.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Jake.
And this is Chris.
Awesome sauce. Today we are covering some more Deep Space Nine.
Nice.
Kicking off season 2.
Even better.
With a 3-parter.
That's kind of weird.
That frankly could have been a 2-parter. And frankly could have been a 1-parter.
Whoa.
But we'll get to that. So since this is
So it's season 2.
Season 2.
3 episodes.
Episodes 1, 2, and 3.
And Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine.
There's a lot of numbers.
2, 3, 9.
9th episode. 9th season. 9. So the episodes we are covering are The Homecoming, The Circle, and The Siege, all part of the same basic story arc about these Bajoran extremist assholes.
Yep.
Let me dive into I'm just going to summarize the whole fucking thing. I have a brief outline that I'm sure I'm going to depart from immediately.
Get it.
First things first. Quark gets this earring from a freighter captain that he's totally plowed and says to himself, man, Bajoran earring, let me give this to Kira. She's a one of those. Kira takes one look at the earring and says, oh my god, that is Lee Nalas?
Easy for you to say.
Nalas.
To be fair, I think she says, oh my prophets.
Oh dear prophets. Wormhole aliens. Lee Nalas must be alive because we have his earring.
Who?
And that's how that works. If you have the earring, totally alive. And no one questions this.
If the glove fits, you must acquit. Etc.
Well, it was sent as a signal specifically.
Oh, really, Jake? Were you there?
Yeah.
But this was even before she knew about that. They just handed her an earring, said this is from Cardassia 4, and she was like, fuck. Lee Nalas, who was this big-time war hero, like, awesome terrorist, extremist hero of hers, he's gotta be alive, we've gotta save him. Everyone on the station is all like, oh yeah, Cisco, you should totally do that, before he even fucking thinks about it or talks about it with Kira yet, but fine, everyone's conspiring and doing Cisco's job for him, that's okay. He doesn't seem to care. For some reason, someone decides that Miles is up for a do-or-die mission. Because he wants to get away from Keiko? Maybe. Because he wants to get away from Molly? Definitely.
Wants to kill some Cardis.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
So we go down to Cardassia 4. Kira pretends to be a prostitute.
And that's how
Great.
they think prostitutes dress.
Maybe on
Bajoran
Cardassia they do.
prostitutes? I mean, I don't know.
There's a lot of synopsis to get through.
was
We'll worry
very
about
hot.
that later.
You're right, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, just to make sure we don't forget, Kira pretended to be a prostitute.
That's true.
We're going to get back to this.
Yes.
And we rescue Lee Nalas. He's still alive, even though it's been reported he was dead. Who fucking knows? He's here now. We were stuck with this guy. Out of fucking nowhere, Quark gets forcibly branded by this terrorist cell, the Circle, who really believe that all non-Bajoran people need to get the fuck off Bajor and out of DS9. Yikes, guys. Meanwhile, Lee has tried to GTFO from Deep Space Nine by hopping on some kind of a freighter or something, and Cisco gleans from him, wait a minute, you're telling me you're not actually a war hero and people only think you are because you accidentally killed some half-naked Cardassian and you don't actually want any of this responsibility? Let's make you the Navarch, which is basically what we did with Kahless, give him an entirely pointless and meaningless role, like title, so that you can just kind of be around and people will think you're important. He's like, great, let's do that. That's end of part 1. Part 2. This asshole Jero Essa has transferred Kira to Bajor from DS9 so Lee can take her role on Deep Space Nine. And there's this whole reverse clown car kind of farewell party where everyone keeps wandering in and saying, Kira will miss you, Kira will miss you, Kira will miss you, Kira will miss you. Until the sexy Vedic Barile walks in and says, Kira, come back with me to my monastery. And she's like, okay.
I want to show you my orb, if you know what I mean.
That! I literally wrote, and Barile shows Kira his orbs.
Wink face.
2 winky faces. So Kira knows, oh man, I'm all about this. I've had this vision and Barile's in it, and nice. Meanwhile, my favorite thing happens, and Deputy Quark, who's on the scene, has determined and tells everyone that the Circle is getting weapons from the Crisari. So Rat Odo is on the case. And Rat Odo realizes that it's been Jaro Essa all along trying to give power to these extremists. I keep saying that funny because it's a weird fucking word.
That's cool. We don't mind, dude.
He's been trying to give them weapons and power so that it'll destabilize everything, make the Federation leave, and Bajor can be Bajor again. Only Odo realizes, fuck, this thing to the Cardassians giving them weapons because Cardassia wants to just swoop in when we're gone. That's bad. Oh well. Meanwhile, Kira gets tortured and kidnapped. Holy fuck. She learns that it's Jero Essa this whole time, and she's like, fuck all this shit. End part 2. Start part 3. Quote, here's what I wrote down on my notes. Fuck! We need to evacuate the station. How long will it take to evacuate the station? As long as this fucking episode. We get all the Venom civilians off because the Circle is on their way here, and they're going to put up a gigantic battle because they're so pissed at non-Bajorans for existing. So that everyone evacuates the station, only except a whole bunch of them stay along behind to do this siege thing, and Kira and Dax go find a shitty Bajoran raider from some moon so that they can bring the news to Bajor that it's Cardassia behind all this time.
Like some weird kind of Paul Revere.
As if they'd believe it, because so far they haven't. Various battles. So many battles happen on DS9 until somehow finally they get through to the people and they're like, we've captured some of you. Here's what's going on. Meanwhile, over at the Chamber of Ministers on Bajor, it's Dress Up Like a Vedic Day. Starring Dax and Kira, who look damn good.
Yeah?
They swoop in, they tell everyone, we've got proof that it's Cardassia. And they're like, proof, you say? And Vedic Winn has just been there for, I don't fucking know why. Extra plot line. She and Jero are fucking or something.
Oh, definitely.
And she's like, oh, well, if Jero's been foiled, then yeah, I'm not behind this at all. I totally believe that it's with Cardassia. We shouldn't do it then. Done. I still win. And this
That's her name.
Oh, yeah.
This news makes it back up to DS9, and the 2 generals up there who've been trying to take it over realize, oh no, this has been going wrong. Oh shit, one of us accidentally shot Lee, who was jumping in front of a phaser aimed at Cisco.
No.
Lee! Now you can finally be the war hero martyr that you never wanted to fucking be in the first place.
Hooray!
Congratulations. And then O'Brien gets to be racist about it.
Hooray!
Hooray! So that was 10 minutes of synopsis, but holy...
No,
That
that
could've
was
gone much
really
worse.
fast, dude.
Yeah,
That was amazing.
But yeah, so let's unpack this a little
It's
bit.
a lot.
And you actually
Ooh, yeah.
kind of made it sound like an understandable plot, which
It's not.
Which, when watching it, I was not the impression I had.
Nope.
I don't know. I got it. I understood what was going on.
I think there's too much. Here's my biggest gripe with this. I'm gonna call it one episode, because why not? With this episode.
It's really fucking long for
It's
one
really
episode.
fucking long, but Lee Nalas, or Dallas, what was his fucking name?
Lee
Nalas?
Leonidas.
Feels superfluous most of the time.
Well,
And he feels it, too, because he's like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Like, we go and save this guy, and we're like, yeah, you're gonna be helping. And you don't help until literally the last second of the episode.
Listen, that's why they tell you not to meet your heroes.
Yeah, it does see his inclusion and the inclusion of that rescue plot. Because I could totally see a single standalone episode about rescuing a Bajoran war hero, and then we find out that he was kind of a fraud.
Yeah. It was originally pitched in TNG, and Michael Pillar's like, but I want it for DS9, please, and he takes it and does it that way.
It certainly makes more sense as a DS9 episode.
Oh, yeah. No, but
in TNG, it would have been Ro.
That's fair.
Ro would have had the Kira plot, I think.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that works as an episode on its own. Does it work in the larger framework of this circle...
Jerk.
This coup d'etat plot that's happening?
Was it
Less
Nog
so.
that couldn't say, wasn't Nog having trouble saying coup d'etat?
Oh, that's cute.
I like that scene. Like,
I mean, it is a dead language. So.
yeah, but I like this. All this stuff couldn't keep us apart. You think some French thing is gonna? I was like, oh, that's sweet. That was a nice scene.
I liked it.
But that's later.
But yeah, so I don't know. I do agree that the Lee Nallis stuff at the end of the day.
They could have just Kalis him and been like, "You're Navarknar or Navark now, and you can just go off and do your thing, and we won't care about you."
Yeah, I mean, really, the only real connection, other than his heroic final act of diving in front of the laser beam, other than that, his only other purpose outside his specific plot line is to replace Kira and to get Kira off of the station for a few scenes.
Well, somebody had to do it.
They could have easily found another way to do it. Like, maybe she got herself injured in something, had to go recuperate on planet with her family. Does she have a family? I'm sure she doesn't, actually.
No, that's a question. So, why is it important that Jaro get Kira off of Deep Space Nine? Like, he says, he eventually captures her and says that he wants her to give him information about Cisco, but...
Yeah, I feel like it's more important that he get Lee on the station so that he doesn't come to the planet and everyone rally around him.
Yeah.
Because he wants there to be all this subterfuge and bullshit.
Yeah.
But, like, honestly, if he had done that, if he had, put Lee Nallis onto the station, but also left Kira there, probably would not been nearly as much of a problem for him. Like, the big problem, ultimately, was that he pissed off Kira, and you don't do that.
Well, I think he pissed off Kira and Cisco, and you definitely don't do those both. I think he underestimated Cisco.
Yeah, but that guy, man, I mean, I knew as soon as you saw him, that actor's been in stuff.
That is Frank Langella. He was...
Oh, that's Frank Langella?
Yeah.
Who is that?
He is in The
looks-
Americans. He's Gabriel.
Man, he's so fucking young in this. I'm
And
used to seeing him fucking old.
He is...
Did he play Nixon
Yep,
once?
he was Nixon in Frost
Frost
Nixon.
Nixon.
He was in both the movie and he originated the role in the play.
Well, I think we can all agree that Richard Nixon originated.
Holy shit, he
the
looks
role.
so, like, he still looks old. Like, he's like an older man, like a middle-aged man.
Yeah.
But, like, I just, like, man, he looks fucking young.
Yep.
I did not realize that was him.
Yep.
He looks young for such an old fucker.
He's specifically uncredited in this because he said he wanted to do the show for his kids, not for the fame.
Oh, that's
Which
cute.
doesn't make any sense because then you'd think you want your name attached to something, so people might want to go watch the show. But
Well, maybe he just wanted to be like, hey, see kids, I'm at Star Trek.
That's cool, though.
But
like
yeah,
it.
I was wondering why he wasn't credited.
you know,
yeah, it was
you
his
know
decision. It sounded weird.
as soon as you see him that, like, this guy's up to no good.
for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
He looks like a
he's
Lannister.
like, oh, good, you found this guy. Great.
Yeah, no, he is... He's one of those guys, when he shows up, nothing good's happening.
Yeah, like fucking Vedic Winn.
Mm.
Could have done without her plot. I felt that stretched it too.
But then
Yeah,
again,
why was she even there?
Well,
Because religion and politics are intertwined on their fucking planet.
Yeah, and
They're
that's to
morons.
really just...
Well, again,
Drive that
religion
home.
But
religion
again,
is politics on their planet.
I like
It's
that
all
she was included because
Yeah.
I like when she's on screen. I like being angry.
Yeah. When fucking... when she sees Kira at the monastery,
Oh, and she's
stay
such
as
a bitch.
long
Oh
as you
my
like,
Lord.
maybe even a week. It's
yeah,
like,
stay as long as you want. A couple days or something. Fuck you, bitch.
oh, I
But
hate her.
the whole, and she's just so passive aggressive.
Oh,
like,
she is.
oh, you had an orb experience. Oh, it's surprising that you didn't come and clear that with the council. Oh,
You
well,
know you don't have to do that.
Well, I always clear it with the council, and then meanwhile she's got fucking dipshit in there having
Yeah.
an orb experience.
Yeah, she fucking little kiss ass probably goes to the council every time she wants to take a piss. Just be like, may I use the lavatory? Yes, Jesus, leave us alone.
May I conspire with Jaro?
No.
But
Oh,
fine, whatever,
go
leave us
ahead.
alone.
No, because what's going to happen is someone's going to be like, we need to use the orbs, and somebody will say,
Who
like,
didn't wipe the orb?
Winn, no,
Oh,
you
no.
can't go use the orbs. You got to ask the council. And then she'll turn around and she'll go, I am the council.
God.
Oh.
I caught the end of that movie recently.
Rough,
It's exactly as good as I remember.
rough stuff.
What movie?
Sith.
Star Wars.
Oh, right,
Sith
I am the
things.
Senate.
Star
Right.
Wars.
Sith things.
Revenge of the Sith.
Sithic.
So much.
God, yeah, there's just so much. I'm going to look at my notes
Yeah,
because
there's
I
lots
have
and lots
nothing.
and
Yeah.
lots.
Okay. Well, so
I mean, it's a three-parter.
It's enormous.
Where do we start? The beginning? What happens in the beginning? Let me check.
get an ear rating.
Well, you were right last week. Jake's date is this week.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes,
I was
mea
mistaken.
culpa.
But yeah, they did put 2 Bajoran racism episodes back to back. So,
I mean, there's
them.
been a season break in the meantime.
but it was only a 3-month break.
Listen, they're all about that race. About that race, no trouble.
Yeah,
So-
I almost feel bad for I was reading up on this, and I kind of feel a little bad for Nana Visitor, because it meant that she had, because this is a 3-episode plot, and she's the central character, it meant she just did not get to stop working for all this entire time.
So I did have a note here. There's the bit where they find the graffiti, and Odo's like, he has a low security area, and Sisko goes like, well, moving forward, there are no low security areas.
Wasn't it on his quarters?
No, that was
That's
later.
Yeah.
Oh, that's later. There's another one?
This is the first one.
Okay.
But-
I think I missed the first one, and therefore when Quark got branded, I was like,
Oh.
why haven't we heard of this?
But my note was, after Sisko says there's no more low security areas, fucking Odo's got whatever passes for a boner with him right now.
Ha.
True that.
He can make it whatever shape he wants.
He can be the wall.
His penis could be a
Why
rat.
can he be the wall?
Because...
Hang on.
So
Where
that's
in my
much
notes is
later,
that?
but...
There's so many notes.
A rat penis.
Oh, here we go. Odo can be a wall, question mark, question mark, question mark. Odo can be a tripwire.
Yep.
Question mark, exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point.
Okay, but can he
Question mark,
mind meld with a
exclamation
ship?
Not yet. Give it time.
But why, what's wrong with him being a tripwire or a wall?
It was very silly.
No, see, what I liked... I was of another different opinion that, normally someone being able to, just become the wall or just be a shadow figure, if he wasn't a good guy, he would be a horror movie monster. This thing that can just slither out of the wall and look at you. But it's Odo, so we're like, haha, how fun! Meanwhile, if you're anyone else, it's just like, huh!
Here's a question. I was thinking about this, I think, last week when he was being a sticker on a piece of packaging before he turned into a rat.
That's this week.
This is a confusing week.
Yep.
Whenever he was being a sticker,
Yep.
good God. Does he have senses when he's being a non-organic looking thing that doesn't have, eyes and...
We have to assume yes.
No, I don't know, though. I think that he might have... I think when he becomes a thing, he becomes the thing.
Yeah, but the thing doesn't have a brain to make him switch back.
Yeah, how would he
Yeah,
know
well, I mean,
when
I
it's...
think-
How would he know when it's safe to switch
Yeah.
back?
And also, how is
I
he
don't know.
learning anything from it if he can't hear
Well,
it?
he might have some sense. I don't think he has sight unless he has eyes.
Well, maybe he's hiding
the
an
eyes-
eye as, a little period in the writing.
Well, no, but the eyes are just him constructing an eye.
Yeah,
It
but I
isn't-
think he has to construct a functional eye.
I don't think
in
so,
order to
though.
see.
Do you
You
think
don't think?
so?
Otherwise,
How does he have senses?
he's got 360-degree vision all the time.
Maybe
he
he
does. That would explain a lot.
Why does he ever turn around? Why doesn't he just make his
It's
face
to
appear
ma-
out the back of his
Because
head?
that would freak out
Yeah.
the solids.
Because he's trying to make people comfortable.
Yeah, it's like how Data has an algorithm that makes him blink. It's just...
I don't know. I kind of think that, maybe he can sense vibrations and stuff just natively. But I
Maybe.
think in order to get, higher level sensing, he probably needs to create sense organs to do that.
Maybe. I mean, we're never probably going to get good
Probably
answers
not.
on any of this.
Probably not.
He's basically magic.
He is.
And I love him.
Yeah. But yeah, well, what's extra confusing, too, is just that, one thought I'd had last week was this is sort of a weird season finale. It's just this strange little sort of standalone story. Could have been seemingly any part of the season. And now it's oh, they were laying the groundwork for the opening of season 2 with this. This is...
I don't think they were intending it. I think they were just trying to end last season with something as good as Duet. They didn't quite reach it,
Nope.
but I think they were let's keep making this as good as interesting as we can. And I think they originally wanted it to be a Picard story, so it would be bookended. They'd have Picard come in, they'd have an adventure together, and say, no, shelf that. We're gonna go with something with the Prophets. So
That was
Yeah, that's
terrible
lazy. I'm
idea.
glad they didn't do that.
so that we can bookend it with Prophet stuff
Yeah.
instead.
Well, they retrofit it well enough that it really did feel to me, it felt oh, I see what they were doing now. Clever.
I don't give them that much credit.
Well, that's why I said it's a retrofit, and it's a good one if so.
Yeah, I know they, like, between seasons, like, all the writing staff, like, they had a meeting and they talked together, like, okay, now that we've seen what season 1 has done for us and we've seen what works, character stuff. Do that, like, whoa.
Yeah.
And also, they learned what works. Bajor's a shithole.
Yeah, Bajoran politics is very fascinating, it seems.
Yeah, it's a disaster, and it's great.
Who's our most developed character? Kira? Done.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so it does seem like Kira's kind of eating up all of the good plot lines lately. I mean, these 3 and then the last 2
Yeah.
were both heavy Kira shows.
Yeah, but you sort of feel like that's inevitable because they're right near Bajor. The fucking space station is sort of kind of Bajor's, right? I mean, isn't it their space
The
station?
wormhole
It is their space
The wormhole
station.
is Bajor's.
The wormhole is, and the space station. Yeah, no, Bajor's definitely important, but definitely Kira's got the lion's share of pulling to do for these episodes, and she does it well. You know,
Yeah.
she's carrying these well.
I guess the other reason it makes a particular sense to me is because on Deep Space Nine, they're kind of waiting for adventure to come to them rather than going out to adventure. And Bajor is so close by that...
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that they get away from. I think this season we get more off-station adventures, because those are always good.
We shall see.
But yeah, these season 1, I think, a lot of people, when this show came out, kind of tuned out after a while. Because and I don't think it was because the first seasons were really bad, it was just that they weren't what people were expecting from a Star Trek series.
Yeah.
They were expecting people to go, to have an adventure on a planet, and you meet a crazy alien on a planet, and the crazy alien does something, and your ship gets fucked up.
Yeah.
But
what would the point have been? Because, at least at the start, it was overlapping with TNG, and TNG was already doing that.
Yeah, I think people wanted more TNG.
Well, that's 20 years later.
Yeah. Well, they wanted more TNG then, and that's not what it was at first. And then, I think that the producers kind of saw that and were like, oh, shit, people wanted TNG. Let's just do TNG again and call it Voyager.
But also, I wouldn't be surprised if, you start to see more and more stuff leave the station once TNG formally ends, and then it's a little less redundant.
Yeah. Well, but after that, you get Voyager. So
True.
Which really is another Planet of the Week show.
Yeah. I will say, you're talking about names in the intro, sending Miles off with Kira for this mission, which on the one hand is a little random, but on the other hand, I said makes perfect sense. Because of all the Federation staff, he's probably the only one that hates the Cardassians almost as much as Kira.
Yeah, but then you send someone a little bit more tempered.
But yeah, but they know there's going to be a firefight.
And Miles is expendable?
Yeah.
Well, he's also
He was in
also
the
even
war.
says he knows how to fight Cardassians.
He
on
misses the
ground.
fucking ration packs, apparently, the weird bastard.
Yeah.
And they did
that
not
was-
look good.
Here's the thing.
That was another padding of the episode, was because they mentioned the rations and then they talk about them for 5 minutes.
Here's
Oh,
the
you're
thing.
saying you guys don't love these fucking rations? They're
What
great.
this tells you is that in the next... What the fuck year is this? 300 odd years, Irish food is not getting any better. That's what... It's still the same awful shit. So that's why he's like, this is fucking great. There's salt in it!
I once went to Dublin where they had a Burger King.
But, I mean, I just imagine the whole flight to that prison camp was just Kira and O'Brien exchanging stories about how much they hate Cardassians.
Probably.
Yeah. So they get to Cardassia 4, and we have some subterfuge to gain access to the prison camp.
The worst subterfuge.
Yeah,
It
kind
is
of upsetting.
uncomfortable.
Kind
Yeah.
of upsetting subterfuge. When she pretends she's gonna there's not even buttons for her to be unbuttoning her
Oh,
shirt.
yeah.
But then she punches the guy, which is like, yes, that's what you do.
That was fun.
I feel like she should have just done that and been like, oh, you want to see how awesome I am? Punch. And he would have been like, yeah, I'm totally into that. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Well,
No,
I
he's-
guess we're dating now.
The way he was talking,
I think they're married.
Yeah. Oh, that was awful. She needs some discipline. He's like, oh, this is gross.
Yeah, but she was
That
like,
was supposed
from
to be
you,
gross.
bitch.
I know.
No, it was just some weird BDSM shit. It wasn't gross. He was being a fucking creepy
But
Cardi, and she
it's-
was playing the game.
It's gross because he's a Cardassian. Because, like, for him, there's this whole
Oh,
racial
ew,
layer that
no,
makes
no,
it
no.
not
Yeah,
innocent.
He just
You're
wants to
right.
beat
You're right.
up
You're
on
right.
a-
Yeah,
Bajoran
no,
chick.
it's because, like, if it was a Bajoran to a Bajoran, like, yeah, then they're just into some kinky shit. He's a Cardi, it's gross.
Mm-hmm. It's like if you would bring a child to a pedophile to try to like get access to whatever the pedophile's guarding.
Yeah.
But then but then the child is actually made of bombs.
I don't know if I would go that far.
The things the Cardassians do to the Bajorans are pretty bad.
I know, but pedophilia is a whole different.
Alright, it's... anyway. I can't think of any other example that isn't as equally
Well, I mean,
horrifying.
I can. It's like master and slave play between a white person and a black person. Or
Right, I
it's-
said anything that's equal... Everything I can think of is equally horrifying.
Oh, I thought you were saying you couldn't think of anything.
No, I could.
horrifying.
Every
I'm like,
example I can think of is equally bad, and that's why
Yeah.
I'm just like, nope, never mind, done. It's all awful.
All right.
It is awful.
Fair enough.
I did like her casual wear, though. Her
Yeah,
weird
her
little
her
knit...
little crop top.
Her, like,
Crop drop.
Crop.
quarter-done sweater. It's like, we made the grid of a sweater, and we're just gonna stop there.
It was cute.
It
liked
was
the
cute.
texture.
It was weirdly... It weirdly
It looked-
worked.
And funnily enough, like in the desert area where they were, like the texture of it looked good next to the sand.
Yeah.
Which I for some reason like, wow, this is just a very
That
textured scene.
goes really well with the sand.
It did.
I will say, like, for all that whole scene was uncomfortable, the weirdest part was, I think, how easily O'Brien slipped into pimp mode.
Yikes.
But how, like, here's something that's interesting. Is like, how typical is it on Cardassia 4 for a human pimp to be parading around with a Bajoran prostitute?
Apparently common enough that guy didn't blink.
Yeah.
Very
Oh, the prostitute's here. Yeah, excellent.
I mean,
Feels
I'd
like-
usually expect the pimp to be a Ferengi, but...
It's like that scene in Boondock Saints where, what's her name? Willem Dafoe and Drag shows up and is
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, I've been sent over by so-and-so. And they're like, oh, yeah, he's always sending us hoes.
The only thing that would have made O'Brien's pimp thing any better
Big
if he was
hat.
wearing a big
Oh,
hat,
I thought you were gonna
pimp
say
hat, or a
is-
cane, a
if
big
he was Willem
bejeweled
Dafoe.
cane or
Yeah.
something.
Random monocle.
Yeah, pimp
Wow.
O'Brien.
oh, can we commission that Star Trek Scribbles guy to draw Pimp O'Brien?
Oh
I
my
bet we
God.
can.
But yeah, the whole prison break thing did feel very, like, way too easy.
Well, it was probably on purpose.
Why?
Because they were working with what's-his-face.
But again, I still
Because
don't
they
understand-
had 3 more episodes to
Because
do.
then again, if that prison break hadn't happened, then Lee Nallis would have never come back. There would have been no. I mean, Jarrow's plans wouldn't have changed. He didn't need Lee Nallis in his plans.
No, I think it was just a further layer of destabilization. And, like, they just want Bajor to be a mess. And their thought is this could introduce yet more chaos. Like, they don't necessarily need Jarrow to win. They just need Bajor to implode.
I don't know. I find it a hard sell that this whole thing was orchestrated, because you got to remember also it was one of Lee's prison buddies that smuggled out the earring.
Right, but again, like, the question is, were they looking the other way to let it get out?
But why? I don't buy that.
Well, see, the only reason I feel like they had to have been doing it is because of the fact that the episode never spells it out, but there was that thing in the first episode where Ducat is all like, "We've issued an apology," and blah
That's
blah
true,
blah.
yeah. Before
Like,
Kira even gets back, Ducat's on the phone being like, "We've released everybody else because we're not at fault here."
I always feel like that's kind of like they got their hands caught in the cookie jar.
maybe.
And
Yeah,
it
that was
could-
my first
and
assumption,
it could have
too.
caught it, like, that apology was like, oh, we totally didn't know about this. We're so sorry. Accept our apology, because they know that, well, the Federation, if they're seeing this, then they're gonna take exception.
These fucking punks. Let's
Listen to him. These fucking punks.
The more I watch this show, the more you just want to smack everyone in charge. Because it's like, well, they swore to us. They emptied out all the prison camps. How do you know a Cardassian is lying? He's talking. But beyond that, then later on, it's just like, oh, well, geez, Ben, I know you got this proof that the Cardassians are manipulated, but look, the Cardassians might get involved in other people's civil wars, but we don't. You are going to hand the wormhole over to the Cardassians, you stupid, ignorant fucks.
And I'm here for it.
If there was any time you jack-witted, cowardly maggots shouldn't be standing on the Prime Directive, it is so very much now. Ooh!
Yeah, that dude, that admiral, that pissed me off too, because I'm like, yeah.
Like, I'd like to imagine he went back and told, like, the rest of his compatriots about this. Oh, yeah, so sister, I told you, Prime Directive, and they all just went,
well, maybe they did, because it doesn't, at least we can see
that
it.
face is not good radio.
Yeah.
I'm guessing there was no fallout.
No,
from
clearly,
this
yeah.
violation, right? You
Well,
know?
they said it was all a misunderstanding.
That's the thing. That's the thing about breaking the Prime Directive. I almost feel like admirals they're obligated to tell you not to do it.
Yeah.
Like they're obligated to get it on record that I told Ben Sisko not to break the Prime Directive, and that way they cover their ass because they know Sisko's going to break the Prime Directive and get involved. But if it goes our way, if it works out, no harm, no foul.
And if it doesn't, they
If
need
it
to have
goes
plausible
south,
deniability.
Yeah,
I told him not to do it.
It's like we've always said, the Prime Directive is just all about bureaucratic cowardice. It's not actually about ideals.
Mm-hmm.
It's about CYA. That's all it is. It is
CYA.
cover your ass.
Okay.
It's really one of the, like, worst parts of the Federation and Starfleet, because it's just a way to I can't think of the word I want, but just
Preempt.
just to like eschew responsibility. You know, they get to sit there and be all smug and self-righteous, but meanwhile they let whoever run roughshod over everybody.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Horrible.
Moving on.
But yeah, so we get Nellis back.
Yup. He doesn't fucking care.
Yeah, I mean,
He'd rather be back down there breaking rocks.
Well, he tries to run away.
Well, he really feels like a fraud.
Yeah.
As we find out later.
Well, and as he should, but it's not like he asked for it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's another movie I meant to look more into, didn't look that much into. I've been busy this past couple of weeks. That they changed, his character was originally just going to be kind of a reluctant hero who was like, I'm gonna get my hero, but I'm not really in it anymore. To this mistaken hero, based on The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance.
Oh, I've heard of
Which is
that.
a John Wayne and Jimmy Stewart movie.
Yep.
Which looks good. I haven't seen it. I'm sure it's good. Which is the same kind of a thing where like one of the less good at shooting at people one gets credited for winning this shootout thing when really it was the other one shooting from like across the street over his shoulder and he's that much better of a shot. But the other one gets credit for it. So he like becomes this great senator and all this stuff.
That's right. I think he runs with it, unlike Lee.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He accepts that. Okay, I'll just take this accomplishment that isn't actually mine because I'm the hero people need.
Yeah, I think I like the idea. I do wish they'd done a bit more with it because that's a really interesting idea of like someone who doesn't want to be a symbol, whose legend is a complete fraud, but not one of his own creation.
But
like
his
normally,
character arc doesn't go anywhere.
yeah, they
from
let
there.
it kind of drop, which is too bad. It would have been really interesting to see it better.
To see him actually like take control or
Yeah.
like maybe be the one giving Sisko advice on anything.
Yeah.
Maybe how to raise his son. I don't know. Oh, I see your son was gonna go on a date. Has he know about fisting yet?
Did you tell him about protection?
Yeah, I don't know. I do think though that Lee gets kind of shafted plot wise.
He does, which is unfortunate.
This is also as a trio of episodes. There were 3 different writers that they coordinated amongst each other. It was the 3 main writers, Bear, Fields, and Pillar. And each one took one episode and they just coordinated amongst each other. And Fields even says, he did the middle one, and he says, I wasn't satisfied with where Lee went with it. It felt like he didn't get anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, aside from the sort of, like, not doing as much with Lee as they could have, I think overall I liked these episodes. I liked the overall core plot. Not all the threads that were attached to it exactly functioned or went where they could have or should have, but
some of them could have been their own episodes. So the fact that it was like this threequel of episodes, it just became a little bit diffuse and confusing at times.
But overall, I didn't mind like I never thought the pacing was too bad. I found myself really quite enjoying everything that was going on. I thought the build-up was good.
The second one was the boring one. The third one was just action, 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 action. You don't get a break from the action.
Yeah. It's
Except
funny.
a very quick break to play dress up.
The Bajorans, considering they had been fighting a guerrilla war for so long until only a year ago, sure don't know how to defend themselves against guerrilla tactics.
Yeah, well, what's interesting is that... So the Bajoran military, who were probably the militias from before the liberation, they sign on with the Circle.
Yeah.
They're all in on the Circle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, our new friends Krim and Day.
So fun fact.
Who fight with each other more than they fight with the non-Bajorans, which is hilarious.
So Krim, the colonel was the colonel.
General Krim and Colonel Day.
Oh, okay, Colonel Day then. So I was like, that guy's really familiar. And I looked him up, and he's best known for being one of the main cast members of Wings. Mm-hmm. But I realized I best knew him as Harker in Dracula Dead and Loving It. And what's sort of amusing about that is that Frank Langella famously played Dracula both on stage and in a 1979 movie adaptation.
So there's a Dracula connection.
Yes.
My God. And, if you'll remember, Bashir is also a Dracula.
But yeah, dude from Wings and Dracula Dead and Loving It. It was driving me nuts. I was like, I know that face, I know that voice, what the hell?
But yeah, so the military, they're back in the Circle. They chose the
worst horse.
They chose their horse, but they're on it. But honestly,
if wishes were horses,
so the conclusion of the second episode is the Circle wins. Right?
Yeah,
like they've executed their coup.
Yeah,
and they're now running things.
Yeah. So
I guess it worked out for a while.
For a bit, yeah.
Until the truth came to light.
Yeah, it's Bajor's a wreck.
Bajor's always on the verge of just falling apart entirely.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, if not for the fact that the Cardassians would immediately swoop back in and be Nazis and take over the wormhole, I'd say, fuck it, let Bajor have its independence. The last 10 minutes.
I focused on one of my notes, and I keep forgetting Lee is here.
You know what I found kind of funny about the guerrilla warfare scenes was that, they all...
Oh, being a tripwire? Yes.
That too. But they go full insurrection before insurrection. They all switch into civilian clothes.
Do they take their comm badges off?
They're hidden under their jackets.
It doesn't count.
It doesn't. But they're in civilian clothes.
Oh, that's what they can be transported, I bet, though.
Yeah. And what's funny is Sisko, Dax, and Bashir, even in civilian clothes, end up in their uniform colors. Sisko's in a red jacket.
Nice.
Fucking costumers, man.
Dax is in a good amount of blue. Bashir is very much in blue. But then Colmeany's just in a black leather jacket.
Hot.
Instead of any yellow.
Actually, that's one thing that always drives me nuts, because I know costume designers for shows.
They do this stuff.
They always try to be like, oh yeah, this is the character, her color is purple. She's almost always in purple, kind of a thing. And it drives me nuts, because that's not how people's closets are made.
No, when you see stuff like that happen, I'm just like, guys, this isn't Power Rangers. No. They don't need to always wear their color. The problem, too, though, is I feel like the one character they don't have do that is O'Brien, who, unfortunately, sort of winds up looking like a sort of stereotypical IRA gorilla.
Yeah, I think that's what they were going
They kind of fell into a bit of a stereotype.
What? An Irish stereotype? Not on Star Trek.
Tidy.
True.
All right, so then we throw the Molotov cocktail into ops. What?
Oh, God. The bit where Julian leads the team that captures those, couple of soldiers. I'm just like, oh, God. This is going to go so to his head. That's going to be his, story for the next 6 months.
He's going to have so much tail from that story.
I helped lead the guerrilla resistance. I captured soldiers personally.
First 5 prisoners of war.
Yes.
I did the best scene in all of these shows is the scene where Quark gets deputized.
Yes.
I love it so much.
Yep.
I was squeeing so hard.
That was
whole
great.
Scene.
I'm not sure if it's my favorite Quark scene. because
What else? Oh, him with the purple-haired lady?
No,
Or
no.
when he's got the big bucket of money that he's trying to...
No, no, not that either.
Everything he does is good.
I really like when Rom is being a bitch and complaining about the latinum.
Yeah.
And he's like, 1 for you, 7 for me.
But
and
see,
I was like,
that Ron gets his.
I know. Because then, I was getting to that. Because then, they've been making all this money selling, and he's like, looks like I oversold the seats. Whoops, tell Cisco I have all the faith in the world in his ability to fix this. And then Rom sells his seat to a Dabo girl. Dabo girl.
Yeah,
Yeah, he got out-quarked by
Rom.
of all people.
How much you want to bet, though, that Quark isn't like, wow, I didn't ever think you have the lobes for that, and he's actually like, I'm gonna fucking actually kill you.
To be fair...
Do we ever see Rom again?
Yes, we do.
It's too
Quark,
bad.
as someone who does survive the fucking siege, now has the suitcase full of money that he no longer really needs to share with Rom for all I care.
That's true.
Yeah, Rom
All
is
his,
true.
because Rom betrayed him.
Yep, that's true.
I just really don't like Rom.
Oh, why?
Which way did he go? Which way did he go?
I like that he fucking did that.
I like
that was
that.
amazing.
Yeah.
But that's about the only thing he's done this whole show where I wasn't like,
No, he tried to kill Quark when he was the Negus.
Yeah, I didn't think he had the lobes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just don't like him. Everything about him, he just annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think all the things he does are probably fine overall, because I know we're going to see more of him and blah, 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 and all this stuff. It's just the way he does them that I'm like, fucking goddamn it, Rom.
Yeah.
Whose choice was it? Because that's not even his actual voice.
I don't know.
To give him that voice that makes him sound like he's got, I don't even know.
I mean, I think they wanted to make him, Quark's dumb brother who's actually kind of smarter than Quark in a lot of ways.
Well, we haven't seen that he's smarter than Quark. We basically see that he tries to
pretty
emulate.
crafty.
He tries to emulate Quark a bit.
Manages it on occasion.
I definitely don't think he's smarter than Quark. I think he just gets lucky a couple times.
You know what I did like, though, speaking of Quark scenes, is...
Him getting deputized.
No, that too, but...
So good.
When,
It was really
when he
good.
first...
the deputy.
Well, I have no choice. It's unfair! I haven't done anything yet. Well, whatever you're about to do, it's unfair.
That is unfair. But when he first realizes, everything's going to shit, he's like, we gotta get out of here! Well, I mean, I gotta get out of here. You can turn into a couch or whatever.
Yay.
But you know that initially it was he kind
He was
of
like,
wants
buddy, my
Odo
friend,
to go
let's
with him.
leave.
They're gonna go off and we'll find a new place. You can be chief of security there. I'll run scans there. We'll have the same thing. That little slip up. We gotta go!
They're in a little bit of love.
Yeah,
and I like
they
it.
totally are.
I love them.
That's amazing.
Well, and I feel doesn't he actually say to Odo in this episode, you need me or something? Or, I feel like he says something that made me go,
I do not remember.
I just love it.
How did he figure out that it was the Crisari people that were arming the circle?
I just think he talked to some of his
contacts.
I bet Morn told him.
that was a scene they skipped. Suddenly Quark walks in being like, I've got information, everybody, y'all want to talk to me, only in Quark way. And making himself the most important person in the room, as he usually is, to say, hey, I have this information, but it's not very television-like to not show how you get the information. Considering you have 3 episodes to stretch scenes across.
Now, if the military was already supporting the Circle, why did the Circle even need to import weapons?
Say that again.
So the military is backing the Circle.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're doing that from the start, because when Cisco goes to visit the general, he's like, I noticed that you've been pulling your troops out every time there was potential conflict with the Circle. That's a little funny.
I feel like there's a difference between letting happen and actively doing the thing up until the end.
But then it is the formal military leading the siege of Deep Space Nine,
Yeah.
not... Maybe at first they were doing because they weren't sure how much military support they had.
The other thing is, even if the Cardassians are supplying the weapons, are the Cardassians also involved in fomenting this insurrection in other ways? Or are they just...
I'm certain they are, but I just don't know what it is.
Is it a crime of opportunity? It's shit's fucked up. I guess we could, give them some weapons and help move along the coup.
Move along home.
Yeah. Or is it some gull out there, just like, yeah, let's start stirring the pot.
We really want that wormhole.
Yeah, you never know with the Cardassians. Just
they're sneaky. They're good at being. They're much better at Romulans at being sneaky.
They're basically like Romulans, but better at it.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like what it is with the Romulans, the issue is like everyone and their mother has their own little plots going on. Whereas with
but
the
they don't talk to each other.
Right,
so they
the
don't
Cardassians,
coordinate.
and don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are plenty of Cardassians with their own shit, but I feel like there's a little more coordination on Cardassia with a lot of the schemes, which is why they're a little better at it.
I have an important note on rat acting, and that's that the having to shoot any scene with a rat is complicated because rats only do what you want them to do when they're hungry, and then they fill up on peanut butter really fast. So you get maybe 1 or 2 takes tops. Which I found delightful because Rat Odo is my favorite Odo.
Aww.
But all Odos are my favorite Odo.
I just like that rats like peanut butter.
I just like that no matter where you are in space, there's rats.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to question there being an Earth rat.
I know, for a
Humans
second I thought...
brought them everywhere.
Yeah, why not keep being the sticker? They really, really won't notice you if you're there as a sticker. Or rats moving around and they might spot you, but rats just are going to be there anyway.
That's the thing. I bet all planets' vermin are just everywhere now. Like
Did you see that spider thing?
Oh god! Oh, that shitty spider! I loved it. Oh, it was so bad.
Oh, when they're on Bajor?
No, on the moon to get the
Bajoran.
Yeah,
little
to get their little
the Scooty
waiter.
Puff Jr.
Yeah, and this spider the size of a Pekingese dog walks by, and it was a mechanical spider that they picked up at some hobby shop or something.
Obviously.
And then had one of their people like glue fur to it, and they said, "Yep, this is going to be on a screen for like 1 second, because any more than that, and they'll know."
I mean, I knew from the 1 second.
It looked like a cheesy piece of shit, but it still gave me the shivers.
And
I was like, I do not need a spider that big.
And I'm not even going to give them the usual benefit of the doubt of smaller, lower res televisions. That thing would have looked like trash in 95 or whatever.
If it's that big though, it might just be kind of like a snuggly puppy.
No.
Apparently
I prefer my
Yeah.
snuggly puppies without 8 legs.
Oh, find out a bit more about the Trill.
7 legs.
Super allergic to bug bites, apparently. Fucks up the connection between the slug and the person.
Oh yeah, and we learn about one of Dax's old hosts, Tobin,
who
we have to specify didn't get a lot of action.
No sex life and no imagination.
And for whom we've named a bridge.
What it comes down to is, I think that...
Everything revolves around sex with Jadzia? Yes.
With Dax. Like, I think the symbiote is really just like...
Big horn dog.
And it's just like I think that in... Curzon, it found a very kindred spirit.
Yeah. The symbiote must have been pissed off the entire time it was in Tobin, and Tobin's like, I don't want to get laid, I want to work on crossword puzzles all day.
Yeah.
And the symbiote is like, fucking damn it, at least look at some porn.
I was going to say, at least jerk off. Jesus.
Like, that's the impression I'm kind of under now, is like, you know, because there was that question last week, too, of like, which Dax was the, you know, ne'er-do-well breaking windows.
Not Tobin.
Like, I'm really under the impression that it's not, I mean, I think the Dax symbiote is, and I genuinely do not remember. Again, most of these episodes are a blank to me, because most of them I've not seen since their initial run. But I'm kind of wondering if we'll eventually find out that, like, yeah, the Dax symbiote's always been a little weird.
Here's a question. So when the first, which I'm sure we'll not ever get an answer to, is when the symbiote is in its first host, is it still 2 personalities? Because that symbiote hasn't had any life yet.
Or is it just like a blank slate, you mean?
Yeah, or is it literally growing up with whatever they get out of their first host?
I kind of think that is. My impression is that like the symbiotes are like a hard drive.
Yeah.
The symbiote itself isn't so much having a personality as it is an amalgamation of the personalities of its hosts.
Though it may develop some sort of...
Well, yeah, I think it
while.
develops its own flavor. Like
Yeah.
it develops over time.
The flavor is Jadzia.
Barbecue.
Clearly. Although one thing I thought was neat, and I can't recall them really having done before, is using
That might have been
using Dax in the way of
Tobin?
you know, you're
Curzon?
Hold on. There.
Yes.
what?
Okay. We're trying to remember.
You have something you'd like to share with the class?
No.
Trying to remember Curzon's name.
But yeah,
something that
Did you just say Curzon?
No.
Oh, I thought she said we were trying to remember Curzon's name, and you said Curzon. That's what I thought just happened.
Maybe I did. I don't know. Anyway,
I'm pretty
Jake,
sure you did.
Jake, you were making what I feel was a good point.
I'm sorry,
I'm
Jake.
saying something that they did in this show that they haven't done so much yet, I don't think, is using what is obviously something that you should be using your Trill science officer, Trill anything officer for, which is, hey, does one of your past hosts have experience relevant to our current predicament? And then, yes, actually...
They're almost more useful than Vulcans then.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, yeah, I happen to have a host that was a fucking mechanic and could fix shit, and I think that that's a cool thing.
It is cool.
That they haven't, I'm surprised it hasn't come up more.
No.
Like, the only other times we really reference past hosts so far has been like, yeah, Curzon was a real horn dog.
So horny.
But,
Like, that's really all we know about him.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, and I hope we get to.
Did you like that Jadzia doesn't fit in the Raider ship?
Oh,
Yeah,
they ran with
so
that.
long.
She is. And a lot of short engineers. Didn't think.
That was funny.
Maybe they were Ferengi.
Mm.
So yeah, and that we also got a little Jadzia bit in this, which I like.
Yeah, and she and Kira are pals, and and that's very cute to seeing them together as two women characters who can have a conversation that isn't like about boys
That passes the Bechdel test.
or in a leotard doing fucking aerobatics
Or talking about
calisthenics.
Talking about their droopy boobs.
Yeah.
Ever since we got to this planet, my titties been hard.
Speaking of titties,
No.
Were there
What?
titties?
we had that nearly naked scene.
That was weird.
With Kira and Bareil.
Yeah.
So I know. Last week you were nonplussed by Bareil, Caitlin. How are you feeling about him now?
No, I liked Bareil. Chris didn't like Bareil.
Chris didn't like Bareil.
I know. As I said, he's pretty. He's kind of stiff and boring.
Well,
How is he now that you've seen him
He's
less
a
stiff
fucking
and boring?
priest.
I think him being stiff was rather the point of that dream.
No, again, he's still pretty, but when he talks, I want to pass out. He's very monotone. He's very like.
I think that's on purpose. I think that's the character. They're making him a fucking monk who basically just grows plants.
Yeah, and he smokes everything in his garden, I think.
All he wanted to do in the world was grow the best whatever it was, and he couldn't even do that by his own admission. Like he's just a fucking monk.
Yeah.
But
But
one
he's
thing is
gonna
interesting,
bang
right?
Kira.
Well, right,
The
because
shit out of
everything
Kira,
else that happened in the
absolutely.
orb experience literally
Yeah,
happened.
I really liked seeing that, and that when it starts to make sense, like, oh, that's why you saw Dax in Winn's beautiful Sydney Opera House hat.
Everything else in that vision was literally a prediction. So,
Yep.
guess what, Bareil?
Dax looks good.
It's
in
gonna
that hat,
happen.
too.
I like that Bareil asks her.
Yeah.
It's like, so was I in your dream at all? Because
I've been dreaming about you.
mine.
Oh, you know
And
he
she's
had
like,
the same
nah.
woman.
Oh, yeah.
Were you naked? I was naked.
I'm pretty sure I was inside.
There
you.
was a full kiss scene filmed with the two of them in their nearly nakedness.
What? And we didn't get it?
But was not used because I think they were like, we don't want that to be like where it's definitely headed, kind of a thing.
It's been obvious
It is
since...
clear that he took his hand and put it right up there, but a kiss was too much?
Yikes!
I'm not sure if I agree that that's what happened.
I'm sorry, when she was like tilting their head and practically no.
Maybe she just felt his ding-dong against her bum.
Something was going somewhere.
The prophets were entering her.
Yeah, the
and-
prophets.
the prophets.
Via Bareil's index finger.
Oh no! What is happening?
I didn't write the scene.
Okay, there was something weird though. So later in the episode, after their plane crashed, and they were leaving, and they were about, and there's a little fake out on the they make you think they're getting captured by the circle, but it's actually by Bareil's men. Kira passes out, but before she passes out, she makes this crazy weird O face.
I didn't notice that.
She's like looking at him, she's like. And
It was the prophets.
And then she passes out, and I'm like, "Where's Dax's hands right now?"
No.
Curzon!
I was gonna say that.
Well, it's not Tobin. We know that.
Well, I guess Dax did learn a little something from Curzon. Curzon. What the fuck's his name?
Curzon.
Wow, it's really hard for me to say.
What's Curzon's name?
Curzon. That was so good. I love it. You're like, no, I didn't say that. You're like, oh, maybe I did.
Fred Dax.
Good old Fred.
Oh, boy.
You know what I wasn't a big fan of was the whole Stooges act that starts the episode with everyone coming in to say goodbye.
You know, I didn't mind that at all.
You didn't? I thought it very. It's okay. I found it very goofy, and maybe it's because the rest of the episode is so.
It was definitely a farce.
I liked Quark in it, but I like Quark in everything. So
my exact note on that scene, where is it? Was. This crowd scene is both amazing and the worst. Like it's
that sounds about right.
Like Justice's opinion of Move Along Home. This is like both. This is I love this and I kind of hate it in equal measure.
Yep.
Especially because like O'Brien is never quite sure what's happening. Mm-hmm. Like the minute he realizes 1,000 people, they're just like, "Oh, I should fucking go." Oh no, they're not. Let me leave. Fuck.
There's no way to
just pull an Irish goodbye. It's fine.
Pass out?
No, that's when you just leave without saying goodbye to anybody. And people just go, where the fuck did Chris go?
I did love one of Kiro's responses to Odo when he says, oh yeah, it's been nice seeing you, sand down your rough edges. And she says the same to him. I'm like, oh, that's where all his edges went.
It was, I loved that anyway. I just loved that scene.
Yeah, you had a good point when we were on our way over about that.
I don't remember. I think I said that I liked that he was like yelling at her and was like mad that she was leaving and like wasn't putting up more of a fight.
Well, but like that was like it was almost like how with him and Quark even it's like he doesn't know how to otherwise express like I don't want you to leave because you're my friend.
Oh no, that was your point.
So
you made that point.
Well,
thank you, but no, I started the conversation.
I made that point.
But he just all he knows how to do
is Curzon's name?
Curzon.
Fred. Okay. But the only way he knows how to do it is to be grumpy. You know, he can't just be like, you should be standing up for yourself because we don't want you to leave. It's just like,
why don't I loved it. Odo's my fave.
Quark swans in with the and it is fair.
Odo's relationship with Kira is very nice too.
They're wonderful.
But he's like in a small bottle. It's like, well, I wasn't expecting so many people. Which, yeah, I mean that's fair.
I was expecting to come in here, have a bottle of wine with Kira, maybe get naked a little. Oh, that's Bareil? Fuck.
Yeah, like, I don't know how he thought that was going to happen, even before Father What a Waste showed up.
Father What a Waste.
What's that mean?
What a waste.
It's, it is a term I often heard applied to handsome Catholic priests.
Oh, that's funny. I get it now.
Assuming Vedics have to remain celibate, which is not clear.
I bet they
because
don't.
He's definitely planning to plow Kira.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Winn was using her wild.
So, but here's the thing. I actually said the same thing about Winn, but then I said, on the other hand, all super religious Fruit Loops are humongous hypocrites, so it wouldn't shock me in the least if she actually is supposed to have, like, sworn celibacy, but she's just full of shit. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any evidence so that they need to be celibate.
May find out. We may not. Who knows? I genuinely don't remember again.
But I assumed, I assumed that they must because, like, Kai Bareil lives in a monastery. Vedic. What did I say?
Kai. That's the space pope.
Oh, Jesus.
Kai is like the pope.
There is no space pope right now.
No, I know. Sorry. I keep forgetting. I just keep forgetting the word Vedic.
Our space pope is trapped on a planet she can't leave.
Yeah, and also undead.
Yeah.
She's a zombie.
Zombie space pope.
She's a Zambo. I guess it's just because he calls the place where he is a monastery that makes me feel like he must have to, but we just don't know.
We're
it's an assumption, but it's also like an English word that's being applied to a Bajoran word that's being translated automatically.
Exactly. Yeah. We're applying specific standards,
and I don't know if there's any other word, Abbey, but that's also has the same.
Yeah, no, same. That's the thing. We're using terminology that comes mostly from Catholicism, and that is again.
But, like, what if they had used temple or something instead?
Then it would be more vague.
Because that's, like... Because isn't it, like...
well, that's used in all sorts of cultures.
Like Shintoism, for example. The shrine maidens. Shrine, that's the one, too. I don't know. Anyway.
But also, Winn also says... Like, oh, it's a good thing. It's good to see you getting some recreation.
Right, implying that she was there to fuck.
But she was definitely implying that she was just there to
Bajoran bad.
Yeah, that's true.
To plow.
Oh, that bitch! God, I hate her.
Yeah.
She's so good at being the worst.
Anyway, we're running low on time. There's one thing I wanted to bring up to make sure it gets mentioned is I know Peter Ellenfield's the one who wrote the second one, but he's one of the producers of the show, so they all kind of write together anyway. He didn't like the decision to kill Lee at the end because then you're back at the beginning and it's like he never existed in the first fucking place.
Yeah.
But the other two were like, no, we have to sacrifice him so he's redeemed, and also so that he doesn't ever have to come back as a character because we don't want to have to make sure we can find time that actor's available. What do you all think?
It feels like it's definitely more the latter affecting the decision than the former. Because I don't think he needs redemption, because again, he never claimed to be that. Redemption is something he would have needed if he had been like, that's right, I am Big Johnny Hero. And then it's like, oh, actually, I am a coward. He was like, I literally tried to tell everyone to stop with the stories. So it's not redemption, it's just getting off the hook, the poor fucker. He just wanted a break and he couldn't get it. It's quite sad.
He really liked breaking rocks, though.
He did.
Over there, he was like, great, everyone thinks I'm dead. My earring's gone. That's weird. But I guess I just get to live here and no one cares. Awesome.
The poor fucker got jerked around a lot by pretty much everyone, which is too bad.
Yeah. Regarding his death, it's kind of a meh death because he was such a meh character. I feel like if he had been more interesting, I would have been like, kill him off, grand sacrifice, great ending. But I'm just like, who cares?
It definitely read to me more like, all right, we don't have to worry about this guy in the future. As writers, not like,
But man, Colonel Fuckface sure has egg on his face, huh?
Prick.
Good old Colonel Fuckface.
Oh, yeah.
Horrible
I was
shit.
trying to kill Cisco, and that was wrong too, though.
Looks like I just killed our national hero. Whoops.
Oh, yeah.
MB.
How do you come up from that?
He's gonna get drawn and quartered is what's gonna happen.
Whoa.
And, we kind of skimmed around this completely. I just never got to it because we've been going all over so much episode. Horrible racism. I mean, Quark literally branded.
Oh god, yeah, that was awful.
The circle?
Even if you can heal that immediately with Bashir's little whoop whoop.
The act itself is just
that's awful.
Terrible.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
And then poor Jake,
I'm
Dad said
not
I
gonna
can't
get some.
have a date because of racism.
It's more than that, though. Plus, especially because it happens to a black actor and a black character, it feels a little more personal somehow.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was probably a deliberate parallel.
Oh,
yeah.
for sure.
Well, and again, the Ferengi often, unfortunately, embodying negative Jewish stereotypes, and also actually being played by a Jewish actor, oh dear, no.
Yeah, no, it's pretty yucky.
And they went there, and good on them.
I was gonna say, that's the thing, it also makes it very powerful.
Yeah, they did not shy away from these people being really quite awful. But again, you gotta it's like, yeah, we're the Bajorans, we're playing to ourselves, we're superior. It's like, you guys seeing how you're doing?
Yeah, you're falling apart. You got one village that yells at a cloud. You got another one that's being ruled by a 15-year-old. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, look, I'm not saying you're inferior either, but you are not competent.
Well, I think what's interesting, what kind of comes up also for Bajor is that, they make the point that, we were going out into space and bringing art and culture to planets.
That was an unexpected line.
But I think it's and hopefully we learn more about this. It's just this is an ancient culture. They've been around, but they've always kind of been under somebody's boot.
Yeah, I got a kind of a Poland vibe off of that.
Yeah.
They're just they're the people that you conquer on the way to somebody else.
Yeah, so I think there's certainly a bit of a nationalist complex.
Yeah.
But
that was a surprise
it's
to
our
me.
time to rule ourselves, I don't want to be, we just got out from under the Cardassian Empire and now we've just invited the Federation to come back in. When can we just be Bajor?
Yeah, and you can totally see how it could appeal to the, whatever I said last week, 95% redneck population
yeah, it's a
of
make
Bajor
great again thing,
I almost said that last week, actually.
But but it was funny. That was an unexpected thing. It's I get that they're an old culture, but this is the first hint we've had that at some point they were spacefaring in a big way.
Yeah, probably hundreds and hundreds of years before humans.
Even got there because we were late to the space party, relatively speaking.
I mean, it seems like everybody else beat us to it.
Yeah, well, always makes sense because maybe not every other planet had a mass extinction event first.
But boy, once the humans got to space, they just took over all of it.
It's all those fucking blue jeans and rock and roll!
That's basically the main thesis of Enterprise is trying to justify why humanity is such a big deal, even though they're the new kid on the block. I don't know if it works, but that's a big part of that show.
The answer is
Alright.
blue jeans and rock and roll.
Pretty much.
Okay. I'll look forward to seeing lots of
It's
blue
been a
jeans
long time
in like 5 years or so.
getting from there to here.
Okay, no.
Any
more on the Siege or the Circle or the first one with the more another innocuous name?
The Homecoming.
Again,
No.
overall, like I said earlier, like I think the core plot I enjoyed. I like Bajoran fuckery. Again, it didn't all quite work. The Lee Nellis stuff was mishandled. Not everything was perfect, but all in all, I thought it was quite good as a single huge unit. I don't know.
I think
Huge
the,
unit.
I think the hugeness of the unit kind of toppled on it a bit.
That's fair.
It was too much unit. Nice.
Unit.
Wow. We should probably dig up that clip where they're being Riker and Picard if it's on YouTube now.
Although I do like that
What?
they did pull a Jason X and tricked people.
That's
into thinking the
right!
holodeck
Yes!
was real.
That was good.
It was too quick a reveal. The
Yeah.
second they walk in, I'm like, oh man, they're gonna do Jason X. Oh, they just did it already.
Yeah. Well, the thing
Damn
is,
it!
it was immediately apparent to the audience, too, because they were in uniform and not
that's
in their
true.
gorilla clothes.
Very true.
They're still color-coded to their department
And also,
civilian clothes.
and also because they're somewhere else.
Yeah.
At the time.
They was like, you know what, they're just gonna know. Let's just not even dick around. So yeah, I guess...
Well, we got through 3 episodes just now.
Yeah.
So good on us.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Time. But I do look forward to what's coming up.
What is coming up?
Well, speaking of what's coming up, next week we're going to be looking at invasive procedures
Ooh.
and yeah, maybe we're going to find out about a little more about what's going on with Kira and Belial.
Bareil.
Bareil.
I'm pretty sure that's a Dax procedure.
Oh well.
Oh, where's Dax's hand been?
Where's Curzon's hand been?
Whoa. And the really, really, really boringly named episode Cardassians.
Uh-oh.
That's
What are
also-
they up to?
That's another
Yeah,
Dax
who's gonna
episode.
be in that?
No.
Hopefully your boy Gul Dukat.
I think he is. I think I was scrolling through the episodes and I think I saw a Ducat. in
Ooh.
there.
The neck
Hi, kitty.
himself.
Oh my goodness, I'm getting
I
rubbings
hope
from
he's
the
not just
black
on a
cat.
fucking screen. He's got to get out of the screen and onto the ops.
I mean, that's his greatest wish. He wants his office back.
It's a
Nice
nice
black
office.
cat is giving me affection.
Good boy,
That's
Black
nice.
Cat.
Okay, bye, black cat.
All right.
All right.
Jake us out.
If you like what you heard and you want to hear more, you can find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on Google Play, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts. Yes. You can find us on Facebook by searching A Star to Steer Her By. You can also find us on Tumblr or Twitter as SSHB Podcast, or visit sshbpodcast.com, our home on the web. I think that's it. Every time we get to that part, I forget, because we don't have an email address that I need to plug or anything like that.
We're good. We know
Email us at startosteerherbypodcast.com/gmail@yahoo.com.
/SoundClown.
that. We don't have a Patreon, so I don't know. Give your money to some
Buy
other
a
podcast
fucking
you really like.
mattress!
That's what we should do. We should start plugging Patreons for other podcasts we really like.
Why don't we just set up
I
a
don't-
Patreon?
Do you like to eat
I'm not
food?
taking that tax hit.
Do
Maybe
you
our
want
friends will
to
give us
cook
$2.
your own
We've
damn
done this
food?
bit. Caitlin,
Jake's
get us out of
talking.
here.
You can cut
All
most of that
right,
because it's Jake talking over
I
you.
have been Caitlin.
I'm Jake.
This has been Chris.
And this is always Ames.
Remember, rule of acquisition number 31: never make fun of a Ferengi's mother.
Nice.
Make fun of something he cares about.
Oh,
We didn't get that this week, but that's apparently the full rule of acquisition.
Nice.